Yes, I sit here before you today, late on a Friday when every brain cell in my head is sizzled to a crisp from looking through thousands upon thousands of different stock charts, stock chart setups, and stock symbols, clawing my way step by step, trade by trade to profitability and grinding it out just to get my little piece of the trading pie out there. But nonetheless, I am here to answer all of your stock market questions. Cheers and welcome to happy hour number 67. As I say all the time, if you guys have questions that you think the trading community would like to hear about, send them to support@thelincolnlist.com. And if you need help with your personal trading, right here, every day the market's live, we trade. Here's the link to our live trade room. Click on it and you can start trading with us. Now I know the intro was dramatic, but this is dramatic times and I just felt like saying it, and that's how I wanted to say it. So we got a good topic here I think you guys are going to like. We're going to build on something that we were talking about a little bit. It's going to be talking a little bit about those cannabis stocks that's been going crazy. We're going to be talking about FOMO. We're going to be talking about emotions. So let's get down to it. I think you guys are going to like this question. So here it is. Doug, I'm turning to you for help. I am so frustrated about giving up the trade of a lifetime on Tilray. I've owned this stock at $80 and sold it at $97 because I allowed those dumbasses on CNBC and a few social media people to convince me it was overbought. Now when I see it at $250, I want to cry because I could have made a fortune on this stock. I haven't had that good of a trading year, and Tilray would have made me good if I would have held. Should I go back into this trade? When you talk to most pro traders, they tell you to stay away from these types. But it's these stocks that make traders rich. Why should we stay away from them? Are we not trying to get rich? Or do you think these people are jealous they missed this trade? Please don't tell me you think I should stay away too. I look up to you. Don't piss me off. Well, let me say thank you very much for your kind words. I am flattered that you look up to me, and I truly appreciate that. Second, let me apologize to you in advance for the words I'm about ready to hurl towards your direction. Most likely will piss you off, and I don't want to piss you off. I'm just here to help you. But let me start it out on a good note. Here's to you. Here's to you who wrote this. Congrats to you because you traded this thing from $80 to $97. You made $17 a share on a trade, and you're pissed? Now trust me, I understand exactly how you feel, because if you guys remember, it was just a couple of weeks ago we talked about this same very thing in Happy Hour, and I think the title was "You Miserably Successful Trader," and it was about there's never the perfect day in trading. There's always something you could have done better. There's always something you should have done better. There's always something that you missed. And I've also talked about this before, that I've done a lot of businesses, which I've talked about. I'm sure you guys have done a lot of things in your life. There will never be. There is no such thing. The greatest hindsight business of all time, the greatest coulda, shoulda, woulda business of all time is stock trading. That's what makes it so unique, because every single day you miss something. Every single day something slips by you. You didn't see it. You missed it. And you always calculate up those imaginary profits about stock that you don't have and trades that you didn't make, while forgetting about the ones that you lucked out on. I understand that too. That's just the way the human emotions, human mind works. But you should be proud of yourself, number one, because you made $17 a share. And I tell you, something like that could have got a lot worse, which we'll talk about in just a second. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, there has been this surge of cannabis stocks, Tilray leading it, TLRY. I'm going to post this chart up for you. Stock IPOs around 20 bucks. A month or so later, here you are, this supernova parabolic run all the way touching $300. And I think when I'm doing this, it's settling around the 200 mark, give or take. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to it that much. Now, this is nothing new in the market. Now, Tilray is definitely one of the bigger ones we've seen, but we've seen a similar move like this with Bitcoin, right? This surge in Bitcoin from 5,000 to 20,000 over the holidays. We've seen other stocks do this, KBIO, VLTC, Volkswagen did that, the rare earths. There is always a bubble or this surge or this FOMO, whatever you want to call it. There's always this super hype on a stock or an investment security, whether it be real estate, stocks, Bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, doesn't matter. There always will be these types of trades. And it's customary that when something like this happens, you always fantasize within your mind that you could have traded this thing from $20 and sold it at $300. Look, nobody's that good. And I don't care what's being said out there on social media, people pumping this thing and talking about how great it is and making money on it. There's not retail traders in this thing right now because this thing is going up $40 or $50 per candle. And there's not a lot of retail traders with weight in their accounts and the drawdowns in the stomach to handle that kind of nonsense. And that's a completely different topic. But don't let people fool you. Like, if we were all smart and we all knew what we were doing 100% of the time, then we would have been in it in $20 and we would have sold it at $300. We'd know the future and we'd all be multi-Google trillionaires. I know that's not even a number, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So let me get that out of the way. You didn't know when you sold it at 97 it was going to 300. That's just... You got to do what you got to do as a trader at the time. And honestly, you really should be proud of yourself. That's a hell of a trade. So again, congrats to you. Now let's move on to this CNB social media thing because I've talked about this before. You can't blame CNBC. It's not a trading channel. You know, real traders only watch it for entertainment. Their customer base that they're pleading to all the time is the newbie trader, or the one that doesn't pay attention to the market and they just watch CNBC to get caught up or think they're getting caught up. And they need rating. It's just like clickbait. You go online and there's always something, these celebrities died, this celebrity got fat and then got skinny. It's just clickbait to get you onto that site. They're going to talk about Bitcoin when it goes up. They're going to talk about weed stocks, and they're going to talk about them a lot because people want to know about it, and you're going to turn into viewers. They're going to sell ads and so on. That's CNBC. That's why you don't watch it for financial stuff. You watch it for the entertainment that it is. Now, social media is kind of the same way. Everybody has an agenda, and look, I know you can go through StockTwits and Twitter, and you're going to find somebody that's going to profess that they've traded this thing and they're super rich, and they've held it this whole time. Bullshit. They didn't. If somebody sold it at 20 and it went to 40, they sold it too. We've all done stuff like that. I mean, the stock was up 300 gabillion %. Again, probably a number that doesn't exist and an exaggeration. But you don't see it that often. I mean, you got a market cap there when it hit 300 that's bigger than Best Buy and half of the S&P 500 companies. Some of them have been around since the 1900s when the stock market first owned. I mean, it's just ludicrous, nonsense, unsustainable. But it is what it is. So I hope I answered that one. Now, when it comes to saying something like this, like I said, every time there's one of these, there's always that imaginary thing that if you would have traded it perfectly, you could have made all this money. And that's just not how trading works. I plead to all of you listening to this because this will be a problem for many people that start trading or are aspiring to do this professionally. You go out there and you look for these home runs, these hype plays, like the KBIOs, like the Bitcoin, like this Tilray, these other cannabis plays. And you think, again, that you're going to trade this perfectly. But truly, when you look down the ladder of the most successful traders in this business ever in the history of stock market trading, starting from Warren Buffett, Soros, and the rest of them on down the line to just great traders you don't even know about, professional traders that have made a living off of this, you do not make a living off of hitting home runs. I know you think you might, but you don't. That is not how this is made. That's why I started out this whole thing in the beginning talking about grinding it out. If you want to be a professional $1 million trader and you want to get rich on it, how do you do it? You do it trade by trade, step by step, and by grinding it out. Again, something I've talked about in happy hours. Now, let's say you are a noob and you do knock one of these out of the park. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You bought some at 20 and you sold it at 300. You traded it perfectly. If that's how you're looking at trading, and you're looking for that home run, and you're new and you don't have some fundamental basis of trading or understanding how trading works, you will get lucky on that trade. Sometimes we do get lucky on trades. We make a lot of money, but you didn't learn anything from that. And you're probably just going to take it, be like winning the lottery. That's why a lot of these lottery winners end up going broke after a couple of years because they never had any money skills to begin with. I'm not saying all of them. They never took the time to learn when they got the money, and they just frivolously spent it like crazy. Does that sound frivolously? No, that doesn't make any sense. But they just spent it crazily, and then they go broke. And you don't learn anything like this, and the next trade you just lose money and continue to lose money. What I'm saying is this is not how you sustain a long-term market career. That's why you're going to get backlash from people who trade professionally. I've said this before, and this is what I want you guys to know, the takeaway from this topic. Not only just you're not going to hit home runs, you're going to have to grind it out. But what a professional trader does is specific. Each trader's different, and what they do is specific. They trade a specific style, a specific setup. Now, for example, if I were to trade this stock, trust me, I would have loved to bought this thing at $20 and sold at $300. I'd love to bought it at $100 and sold at $300. I would love to bought it at $200, but I don't. I didn't. And why? Because it's not in my wheelhouse. And I know the first sign of redness on this thing, I'm going to panic out of it. I don't know how to trade it because it's not what I do. It's not the setup. Therefore, what you're doing, and this is what this topic is about. When you go out, let's say this is your comfort zone, what you do. When you get out of your comfort zone and you start taking trades that you don't know much about, stocks that you don't know much about, sectors you don't know much about, behaviors you don't know much about, like cryptocurrency. I don't know anything about frickin' cryptocurrencies. Then that means I'm no longer a pro. I'm an amateur. It's like kryptonite, right? I got the cape, the Superman cape. I'm all massive, flying around because I'm bold. But then when you get me into cryptocurrencies, Forex trading, certain kind of option strategies, low floats like this, I'm Clark Kent. I just turn into some like nerd and I don't know what I'm doing. So what it does is it takes away your professional. It takes away your edge. And that, my friends, is what separates trading from gambling. Again, I talked about that before. So when your friends are talking about trading as gambling and traders lose money and traders go out of business and trading is nuts, that's because people trade Tilray. That's what they trade, $40 candles back and forth. They trade Bitcoin and buy it at $20,000 and are wondering what they're going to do with it right now when it's at $6,000. I've been Clark Kent. I turned into Superman because I changed the way I looked at stocks. I changed the way, and I decided years ago, I'm not going to chase this kind of stuff. I'm not going to do this because I won't be able to make a living. I might hit a good trade, but I'm not going to be a millionaire that way. Right? So let's say I even give you the benefit of the doubt. You bought $20,000 worth and it's $200,000. That's a great trade, but you're still not a millionaire. And you're going to end up spending all that money. And again, you're probably better chances of actually hitting the lottery. So when we look at this whole thing, I know I've just been ranting, coming back at it, and I know this is a popular topic right now, but every time that you get a bubble out there, there's going to be people that chase the bubble. Hell, this stuff has been around since the tulips, the South Sea bubble. It's going to always be a bubble somewhere, whether it's on a micro scale or on a massive level, right? It was just at Christmas time we was talking about the Bitcoins. So there's always going to be a bubble, and they all work the same. It's different levels of traders all the way up, and then this euphoria takes over, and people have FOMO because they don't want to miss out on it, and then they chase it. And in the end, what's going to happen is that most of the people that have large gains on this, unfortunately, probably don't know what they're doing, because if they knew how to trade, they wouldn't be chasing at these levels, are probably going to lose a lot of money. Like the people that bought 20,000 Bitcoin at 20K and are unwilling to admit it to your face right now, and they're down at 6K. And those are the most defensive people, because if you come out and you say something on social media, they're going to yell at you and tell you, hey, you're just jealous. They're not jealous that they missed it. Of course, you kind of feel that you'd love to be, like I said, be a part of that, but it's not jealousy. It's just, if you want to be successful, guys, I say this, and I know it's not the right thing to say if you're trying to sell stuff, because you don't see this on social media. If you want to be a rich stock trader, like Warren Buffett said, why are people rich? Because they don't want to get rich slowly. You are not going to get rich overnight trading stocks. I don't care what these people are trying to sell you out there. It's going to be trade by trade, day by day, step by step. You slowly build your momentum. Now, I'm not saying you can't get rich. It's not going to take you like 55 years to get rich. It takes a few years to get yourself going to where you understand it. But the reason that you get that backlash from other traders, or if you intend on being a rich, successful trader that lasts through this duration of life, as long as you're on this earth, you're going to have to take a different approach. You can't beat yourself up. You should be thankful, because this thing's been halted 5 times. It could have been halted like a CCME and delisted. Then what would you have done? You wouldn't be upset about it, right? From 80 to 97. If it went to 0, if it was delisted, you never know. That stuff has happened before. And now it has been halted several times. So the risk, the headline risk is just, it's huge on something like that. So for the sake of not ranting anymore and just yodeling, the reason that first you should be very happy. You did good. You made yourself some money. Good for you. In the long run, you're probably one of the more successful people that were trading this stock. So good for you. The next thing is don't pay attention to CNBC and social media. You make your own decisions when it comes to trading. That's what you're here for, is to follow your own path, make your own decisions. You will get backlash because if you want to be a professional trader, you have to change the way that you look at this whole entire market. You have to grind it out step by step, day by day, trade by trade, and it all adds up in the end. You stick with what you know and you master what you know. You don't go out of your comfort zone. You stay Superman. You do not go back to Clark Kent. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Maybe it'll help you trade better on the next bubble. Until the next happy hour, I thank you so very much for watching this one. If you need help, you know where I'm at. Visit thelincolnlist.com. Trade well and cheers.